Good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of the John Peacock Coaches Show. I'm John Massoni. I'm here with Venice Indian head football coach John Peacock. And Coach, we're back here at our home after a week out at Off the Wagon. Happy to be back. Little festivities going on tonight, but that's always a good sign. We always talk about how places that we have done the show before, how it starts to ramp up in near October. Right. People are coming back.
They have a great crowd here tonight. I think they have some kind of function going on. And had the wings. They were very, very good again. And the onion rings, best onion rings I ever had.
Yeah, really, really good. So if you come down to try the onion rings, they're well worth it. They're really good. But no, glad to be back here. And unfortunately, not so glad about the outcome on Friday night. A lot of things didn't go our way Friday night with a 24-21 loss to the Riverview Rams. I know you broke down film. I know you looked at everything backwards and forwards. Anything you can add to what happened?
You know, that game was 100% on me. I did a horrible job end game, calling the plays and I put us in some bad situations, and it's one of those things that's very, very hard to swallow. I haven't had one of those in a long time where we played a game that we probably should have won, and I really let us down, and it's not going to happen again going forward. It's just one of those things, and hopefully it doesn't put too much of a ding on us, and we can kind of move forward. I know the kids are hurt. We're hurt as coaches, and I'm hurt that I let us down. But I think moving forward, we've had a good week of practice. I think the kids are excited to play Sarasota. So with that said, hopefully we can move forward and we can still attain all the goals that we set forth for the year. It doesn't affect our goals whatsoever. So hopefully it'll turn out to be for the good.
Yeah, perspectively, I mean, every season's different. You never know, how it's going to work out. Scheduling, weather. We've talked about all the different things that come into play. And this year, we talked a little earlier and said about how you're trying to figure out every team as the year goes on. You know what I mean? And so this team brings a whole different set of positives and a whole different nuances to the team. So in regards to Friday night's game, that might have been a little bit of what may have happened. You got all these different things you're trying to work around and trying to figure out how they're all going to work together.
Yeah, definitely. We've kind of simplified some things, and hopefully we can go a little faster and be a little bit more physical and a little bit less thinking, and try to give the kids stuff that they're good at and stuff that they can be successful at, and that's kind of where we are moving forward. And hats off to Riverview. They definitely outcoached us. They had a great game plan. Their kids played hard. They obviously coached their kids very, very hard, and did a great job Friday night.
All the games leading up to this with Riverview, we have had so many in a row and a good, nice winning streak. But there's never been a game that they always seem to be a pretty tight game, especially first three quarters, because everybody knows each other very well. They kind of know what you're kind of going to do, and we kind of know what they kind of want to do, and so you play somebody year after year after year. It's not easy to keep winning. 11 in a row is quite an accomplishment. Yeah,
now hopefully we can start a new streak next year, but I don't want to be that guy that's looking a year ahead and talking about next year. We're focused on Sarasota, and we're focused on winning a district championship, and hopefully going on to win a regional championship and win a state championship.
Positively speaking, Brian Terrell had a nice game on Friday night, 192 yards rushing, but offensively we did run the ball very well. Maybe the passing game was a little bit off from where it's been in the past, but that went well, and I think defensively there was a couple players who really stepped up as well. They did some nice stuff.
Yeah, it was our O-line did a great job. We were physical up front. We ran the ball for nearly 300 yards.
Yes.
And I don't know what our average was, but you probably know better what our average yards per carry was. But I felt like we were very physical up front, did a good job moving the ball, and we just had a couple bad plays, and they were. The way I was kind of describing it to someone the other day was it was almost like playing a wing T team.
Okay.
Where they were getting, 3 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards, and you're kind of sitting there in the sideline, and the clock's ticking, and it's almost like you're taking a slow death. And but hats off to them. That's how you beat us.
Right. They kept the offense off the field. That's what they did. And again, statistically, it was almost dead even as far as rushing was concerned and passing on both sides.
A lot of the St. Pete game, and 09.
Absolutely. Again, and a lot. And I always notice a lot of times too. Turnovers, obviously, a big difference. We were minus +3.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they were +3. So that was a big deal as well because you're getting extra possessions and we're losing opportunities.
You can count the block punt as +4.
Absolutely, and maybe even more so because you were at the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
And then you went backwards, and that kind of was like when you're at the 1 yard line, Venice scores.
Right.
Yeah, that's usually how it works. But with all that, like I said, statistically, pretty much even. Just again, the turnover thing was a little bit different, but otherwise, I think you can look forward. You can say, hey, this is a positive step, and of course, we'll see the highlights from the game, and we'll kind of go over that as well.
Hopefully, it's a turning point for our season, and I think maybe to be an eye opener. Definitely, it's an eye opener for me. Like I said, it wasn't on the kids. This is a game that I lost for Venice High School, and that's tough for me to swallow. And it's been a long week and a long weekend, and I'm excited to redeem myself tomorrow night.
Yeah, no doubt. Positive again. Crowd was fantastic on Friday night. We had a nice crowd. Weather was awesome, so we're in a good spot. So we do appreciate the fans coming out on Friday night.
Absolutely.
It was definitely a good atmosphere, and it was really everybody who was there. I mean, exciting game. Again, the outcome wasn't what we wanted, but it was a fantastic atmosphere at Venice High School. With that, we'll get into the highlights when we come back from our first commercial break. Again, thanks to Off the Wagon for having us, and all our sponsors for what they do for us. And what we'll do is we'll go to commercial break right now and show those sponsors, and be back here with the highlight package when we get back. See you here in a few minutes.
We also like to thank the following sponsors for making this show a possibility: Absolute Aluminum,
Neo Communities, because where you live matters,
Sarasota Orthopedics Associates,
and E.T. McKenzie. And a special thanks to Off the Wagon for hosting the John Peacock Coaches Show.
And thank you to Jenkins Chevrolet. Find new roads.
And we're back here for part 2 of the John Peacock Coaches Show at Off the Wagon. And Coach, we got the highlight package coming up, so why don't we get right to it and look and see what's happening on Friday night.
Sounds good.
All right, here we go.
So we came out and we were able to force a 3 and out. The first possession you see right here, Elliot Washington makes a great play, and Elliot's a freshman, so that's nice to see.
Yeah, he was on the stat sheet with a pass breakup and a couple tackles and assisted, so he did a good job.
See him make a play back here. That's Wes Piggins. He's been doing a nice job. He's getting better each week, which is nice to see. And then they went down and scored. Then we were able to get the ball back, and we just kind of ran down the field. Like you said, Brian Taylor had a nice game. Offensive line did a great job up front. Did a great job blocking. We had great pockets to pass in. You see a nice catch and run by Malachi there.
And in case anybody's wondering, the black uniforms, that is Venice in the black uniforms.
Yes,
in case you're getting a little confused. Look good. Look very nice on Friday night.
See a swing. Malachi makes a nice play here. Missed tackle and another missed tackle. He does a nice job there. Malachi had a good night. He had 8 catches for 65 yards,
yes.
And I think he drew 3 or 4 pass interference calls.
Oh, at least that many, because the only penalties that they had were pass interference penalties.
So, I mean, he did a great job. Had a nice touchdown on 4th down in the end zone. He had a good game. So this is a 4th down here to Garrett French, and we're able to get in the end zone and score a touchdown here.
Garrett looked good on that play. He definitely had a nose for the end zone once he got about the 5-yard line. So he was getting in.
So we were, I think we were all tied
7-7,
and then late towards the first half, they were able to throw a Hail Mary pass. We threw an interception, and you see nice play there by
Martin Ramos.
Yeah, Martin Ramos did a good job.
And they mixed up their running. The number 8 was their main guy, but then Hayes came in 7, and they mixed it up a little bit with different people. So
I think their pass game, I think they maybe hit one long pass.
Yes.
One long pass.
Well,
and they hit
Hail Mary.
And they hit a play action pass. Their play action pass, it was a legal man downfield. They had trips over, and the tight end was running around as well. So that made it kind of tough.
I thought the D-line, as far as they had a lot of tackles statistically. I think Wes Piggins had a lot, and so did Jeb Schrader. And there's DeSavion Castaway making a play.
Good hustle play. That's kind of DeSavion's MO, is he's going to always give you effort, and he did a nice job there.
Yeah, he had a nice sack in the game as well too. He made some plays. One thing I did notice is talking about the stats. We didn't have a lot of tackles for loss. We usually have a few handful, but not this game.
Yeah, and there's a nice play there by
Chuck
Charles.
Brantley.
Yep, Chuck Brantley did a good job all night. Made it tough for those guys. So we're kind of backed up. I think we blocked a field goal there, and we recovered it here.
Yes.
Back in our own territory. We made a mistake. Should have let that ball go and got the ball where we blocked it. But anyway, we were able to get out. So Wes had a nice game too.
Wes
5 catches, I think for 80 yards. He did a nice job. And again, Brian Taylor, and great job up front. You can see the line.
There's a big hole right there. Yeah. Brian again.
Yeah, again, really, really big holes.
And this is where we had the.
Yeah, this hurts a little bit.
Out.
Yeah, we get down the 1 yard line and come over to nothing, and that typically that doesn't happen, and
And the result is that's where they got the ball after the block field goal. So that's where you can see the difference. Yeah, how far, what a big turnover that was.
Yeah, it was a huge swing. It was a 14-point swing right there. Their quarterback did a nice job.
Yeah,
all
I was
night.
going to say the same thing. He seemed to be. He was very under control.
Yeah,
He never seemed to get it.
Threw some nice balls. Made some really good decisions in the run game. He did a nice job.
This is third quarter now. I think we're in the third quarter, so they're going the other direction now. 14-7 at the time, and again we stiffened up, and it was a little bit back and forth the rest of the game.
A nice play by Zach Younts there. We always play the swings and quicks pretty well, and Zach did a nice job.
And here's a fourth down play.
Yeah, fourth down. You see the Savion's going to come up with a big sack here.
That's the one. Yeah.
On the quarterbacks. Good job. I think we got the ball there and we went down and scored right away, right?
We did, because that was a momentum. We had a lot of momentum at the time, and we went right down the field. And we did platoon quarterbacks a little bit. We went with Nico and Ryan.
This is a big fourth down here. Nico did throw a nice ball to Wes, and Wes made a nice catch. That was on fourth down. That was a big play for us. Again, Brian Taylor. The O-line did a great job all night in the run game and the pass game. Like I said, they had a pretty good game. There's still things that we messed up on, but overall they did a real nice job.
There's always little things you can clean up and whatnot, but I think overall they did play well.
See, a nice run, great hole. By Nico, did a good job there.
Nico using his blockers pretty well. I got Ethan Moore downfield, giving him a little bit of extra room.
Yep. You see that Brian Taylor finishes off the drive there.
And now we're back with the ball again.
Nice run by Brian here. I think this is the drive where he threw the fade to Malachi there in the back of the end zone.
We got another fourth down play, if I'm not mistaken, too. So, yeah.
I think it was 3 for 3 on fourth downs.
Yes, you were.
2 touchdowns.
That
was a good part of what I was able to do, other than all the bad stuff. Again, nice throw and catch there with Malachi and Nico.
And now this is where part of the game we've talked about before, where we have DJ Escort in the game, and he made some nice runs, running hard. I thought he was going to get in right there.
Just a sophomore. We're real pleased with DJ. And he practices hard and runs hard in practice and blocks hard. And, like I said, we're real happy with him, and the future's bright with him. I mean, he's going to be a special guy when it's all said and done.
I agree.
See right here, this is a touchdown here to Malachi.
Well thrown, corner of the end zone. Hard to stop that. There's 3 guys there.
You can't stop that.
No.
You can't stop that. See him getting the crowd into it.
And it's funny because Riverview's coaches, they sit in our press box and they're sit behind me, and they said, "We know it's coming." He said he knew it was coming, but there's nothing you can do at that point.
See here, we came with a big fourth down stop, and they did jump, but we still stopped them regardless. So that was a good job by the defense.
And this was our basically the possession we had in the fourth quarter.
Yes, so this is the only possession we had in the fourth quarter, and we were doing a nice job, and we ended up throwing an interception here. Going in to score, and then this is towards the end of the game. This is the drive where they kicked their field goal. to make it 24-21. We did do a nice job finally stopping them here and forcing the field goal. We just didn't have enough time. We had to use all of our timeouts.
Right. Right.
So that kind of stunk. But
they actually give us a little gift here. They went
yeah,
for it.
we
And
almost came up with a pick there.
I was very surprised they went on. That was a third down play, I believe it was.
That was third down. Yeah.
And then went ahead and they kicked the field goal. So, and with that, the Riverview Rams come away with a 24-20 win on Friday night. Like you said, Coach, that's last week. Moving forward this week, always know how important district games are, and this is the first one.
Right.
We'll talk more about Sarasota the next two segments of the show, but they had put together a pretty stout resume coming into this week so far.
Yeah, they're 4-1. The Brian Batty, obviously we're very familiar with him. We've been playing him last 3 years, actually last 4 years. One being at Sarasota, and the last two, maybe it was just one. It was one. So last 2 years, 1 year at Sarasota, and then last year,
Braden River.
The huge games we had against Braden River, and then he's back at his home school in Sarasota. So, just with him alone, he's going to make it tough just by himself.
Yeah.
And they got some other big pieces in their offense. They have I want to say DeAndre is his name. He's number 4, the wide receiver. I mean, he's one of the fastest players in the county. I think he runs like a 10.600,
impressive,
or maybe even a 10.4. But he can absolutely fly. So obviously he's going to be a dangerous weapon. They have two tight ends. Really, they have Travis Toby, who's we're familiar with as
Very
well.
familiar. This will be 4 years with
right.
him. Yeah.
So he's been with Braden River last 3 years. Now he's with Sarasota, and then they have another tight end and Drews, August Drews.
Okay.
Yeah. I know his dad. We graduated the same year.
Okay.
Matt Drews, the guy he was drafted by the Yankees first round. So he comes from obviously good lineage. I think he's like 6'6". So they have weapons all over the field, and we just got to do a good job. And like I said earlier, we have to make it easy and put the kids in the best position to be successful. I failed to do that last Friday, and I can promise everybody it's not going to happen again. So moving forward, I think that you'll see a different Venice team, moving a little faster and doing things that seem a lot easier to do.
And again, and as every game goes by through the season, everybody's getting used to each other, getting their tempo down, and it should continue to get better. And we all kind of felt that was going to be the case with this year's team, that it was going to be sort of a push start, and then it'll be at full speed by the time we.
A lot of young kids, first year, and I think we're making the steps, and this was just kind of something to kind of make us open our eyes and say, hey, we got to come out and work, and when the kids have responded well.
Good. All right, with that, we'll take our second commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about Sarasota, what they have to offer on offense and defense, and of course what we're going to do to adjust to all their stuff as well. We'll be back here in a few minutes.
We also like to thank the following sponsors for making this show a possibility: Absolute Aluminum,
Neal Communities, because where you live matters,
Sarasota Orthopedics Associates,
and E.T. McKenzie. And a special thanks to Off the Wagon for hosting the John Peacock Coaches Show.
And thank you to Jenkins Chevrolet. Find new roads.
And we're back here at Off the Wagon for the John Peacock Coaches Show. And Coach, we left off talking a little bit about Sarasota, got a little bit of that. But maybe, this, since it is a district game, let's talk a little bit more about the district in particular before we get started with Sarasota. Less teams than normal this year. Again, we've talked about it a little bit. It's Venice, Manatee, Lakewood Ranch, and Sarasota. How do you look at the district? Is it better to have less teams? And give us the breakdown on how the whole thing shakes out this year.
Well, I mean, it really this year more than any other year, especially since we've already taken 2 losses. District games are way more important.
Big.
So, with us taking 2 losses already, if we don't win the district, that doesn't guarantee us a playoff berth. So, district games are really they're do or die. We're in do or die situations, and The first being Sarasota, and the other, and Friday night, Lakewood Ranch will be playing Manatee. So we'll kind of know right after Friday night, like where we stand. Lakewood Ranch is undefeated.
Yeah.
And Sarasota's 4-1. And I'm not sure what exactly. I think Manatee maybe.
They have one win, I think, so far this year.
I think they're 1-3.
But they've played a pretty healthy schedule. They have.
But with that said, so now we've got ourselves in a spot where, you have everybody that's going to be, it's going to be do or die for them as well.
Yeah.
So, we have to come ready to play every district game, and we can't afford to slip up anywhere.
No, and the Sarasota was going into last week undefeated, and they had a wake-up call against Port Charlotte. So they're probably in the same boat we are, looking around saying, okay, where do we make our adjustments? Right. They're not coming in just saying, oh, we're riding high on this one.
They're in a situation as well where they have to win all their district games. Their schedule's not as tough as ours, and the new point system is, that factors in big time as far as who you're playing and who your playing's playing.
Right.
So, I think they realize that as well, and so they're going to be with their backs against the wall as well.
Yeah, and so again, if looking at the district and say, oh well, Venice has got a target on them because we obviously the team that's been the most successful the last few years out of all those three teams. So every game we get in district is going to be a fight. Real fight,
yes.
because they're all coming in amped up, and they know how important. So you know how important it is to get. If you get a win over us, you're a big leg up at that point.
Yes, exactly.
Because you can go back into this. We've all play each other, whatever, but that's a big win as far as the points and everything else is concerned. So that's a huge deal.
I'm not even really sure how they do. I don't think they do the traditional tiebreaker anymore as far as district champs. I think they go by the points.
Yeah, I think that's what the whole point system was really put in place for. It takes away all that kind of guessing game. It's just there's an actual statistic that says this is who's the better team is.
Right. So it's everyone's backs kind of against the wall, and that's what it should be. That's how football should be, and that's the way the district should line up, and that's how it should be.
Well, if everything on the football field was absolutes, it would be a whole different game. You have pass interference that's subjective, and you have holding or chop blocking and everything else that goes into it. That's all sort of like, well, I see it this way, I didn't see it that way. It's all that way. When the playoffs come into place, it's just not a beauty contest. There's an actual statistic that does it. I think everybody would like that better if it could, no doubt. All right, so with that, we know the district is important. We're looking forward to all those games. Sarasota being the first one. You mentioned a little bit about Brian Battie and a couple of the other offensive players. On defense, which you're going to be going against the defense, anything that particularly they bring to the table that you're looking at?
They're very similar. They run the same defense as Riverview does, so we're fortunate enough to be prepared for that as well. So I think that gives us a good advantage of already preparing for that front for the last 3 weeks. And defensively, they got kids that fly around the football. They have a good secondary. Their coaches do a good job of getting them in their correct positions. So it's going to be tough. I think the big thing is that, they're a very explosive team. They scored 75 points already in one game.
Yeah.
And so they've put up some big numbers and big numbers fast. So we have to do a great job defensively with containing that and making them work for their points.
And I was going to mention that it's not easy to score 75 points in Florida.
No,
because
when the clock runs,
when it's
hard.
35, it's you have to go. And I'm not saying that they're rushing them at the 75. They're making some big plays and they're playing some that there had to be some defensive touchdowns on that there as well. It's just I don't think it could all just be offense. If it was, it's impressive.
We've been in a game when we scored 77, and that was tough.
Yeah, no,
and that was that was when the clock was only running in the fourth quarter.
Right.
They did it, and the clock runs at halftime.
Yes.
So obviously they have some firepower. They have some kids that can go. They're well coached, and we got to make sure that we're approaching it like it's a playoff game.
And on the road up in Sarasota, so if fans come up to Sarasota, not a long drive, easy to get to. North on 41,
or catch it on Vibrant Aspect.
That's it. You can take it get it on the live stream as well, which we'll put up on the screen here shortly, I'm sure. And then, but with that again, we've talked about in the past how away games seem to galvanize teams sometimes because you're not a little less distraction. You're sort of sequestered in some way to be with the team all day. I think it might be a little bit of a positive, in some ways.
I'm hoping we're getting there and. Hopefully the kids are starting to learn how to prepare for a football game. it's not always easy as a 15, 16, 17-year-old kid to understand, like, I have to be mentally locked in this game. And it might not show right off the bat, but the fourth quarter comes along, and if you're not mentally locked in, that's when it's going to start showing.
And it's funny you say that 15, 16, 17. You watch college football, and you're like, oh, that kid's only 18 or 19, and for him. But again, in high school, it's a lot of pressure for a young man to do certain things. And it never says, is it the quarterback? No, it's every player on the team. They've all got responsibilities, and they've all got their job to do. And that goes right down to the guy who's on the kickoff team or the backup. He's got to be ready to go. And
if you're not, obviously a kid coming into high school, they're not used to preparing mentally like that for a game, for any contest. So it's something that it's learned, and it's a process, and we're not quite there yet. I think we're getting a little bit better, but we're not quite there.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, with that, we'll take another break, and our final break, I should say, of the evening. And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more of Sarasota and wrap up the show for tonight. We'll be back here in a few minutes.
We also like to thank the following sponsors for making this show a possibility: Absolute Aluminum,
Neo Communities, because where you live matters,
Sarasota Orthopedics Associates,
and E.T. McKenzie. And a special thanks to Off the Wagon for hosting the John Peacock Coaches Show.
And thank you to Jenkins Chevrolet. Find new roads.
And we're back here for the final segment of the John Peacock Coaches Show at Off the Wagon. And Coach, once again, Tommy and his staff, they're busy tonight, and they're going at it. But again, they've always treated us with great hospitality, and we do appreciate that.
Yeah, the wait staff is unbelievable. The food is unbelievable, and Tommy is a great guy, and we really appreciate them hosting us.
Always comes by and makes sure everything's going good. So we always appreciate him doing that for us. And again, it's a great place to come. You guys need to come down here and really enjoy the atmosphere, the food, and everything else that goes with it. It's really a good place. With that, Coach, we've got a few minutes here. Talk about Sarasota, talk about the district. Anything else you think, based on this week's preparation, anything else to look forward to for Venice High School football this week, or just hopefully a big win against Sarasota?
We've really been focused on Sarasota, and like I mentioned earlier, I think we've had a great week. The kids have responded well. It's always tough to go through what we went through, and it, being a football player and a football coach, you kind of you lose a game, it puts a chink in your armor, and somehow we have to get past that and move forward and kind of put that behind us, and there's no better way to do that than go get your first district win.
Right, and because I'm sure, like anybody else, we talk about the wins and losses during the weekend and afterwards and whatnot. I'm sure the kids are getting asked questions.
Right.
And they got to answer questions. They got to say what they think and what's going on. And at some point in time, you want to strap it up and say, let me show you what I can do next Friday night. And so that's the best way to get it out is to get over it, is to go get the next one. And again, a real important one at that.
Yeah, the old saying, get that bad taste out of your mouth.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, with that, Coach, we're going to wrap up the show tonight. And again, we want to thank everybody who's our sponsors. Thank everybody here for all the help. And we'll be back here next week, hopefully talking about a big district win.
Sounds good.
All right. With that, we'll see you here next week on the John Peacock Coaches Show.